Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for this special episode of The Comic Source. DC dropped a bombshell today with announcements for 24 new series that are going to start after the Convergence event. It's going to take place in April and May of this year. And they also announced that the New 52 is over. That doesn't mean that it's another reboot or relaunch. It just means that the books are no longer going to be branded with the New 52 logo. Even once all these new series start in June, there's only going to be 49 books put out. Some of those are even mini-series. So a lot of people have been complaining for a long time about this labeling of the DC Universe as the New 52. How can it be new when it's 3 years old? So I guess they finally decided that they haven't put out 52 books in a long time. It's been 3 years. It was finally time to change. So we'll see if they come out with a new way to brand the universe, or maybe it'll just be plain old DC again. Anyway, my good friend Manny, who's joined me on the show before, and I sat down earlier tonight and went title by title, talked a little bit about the creative teams and whether or not we were going to pick up the books, maybe what we knew about what the new books were going to be about. So take a listen, see if there's maybe some books that you might be interested in picking up come June. And as it gets closer to June and we know more details, I'll do another episode that has a little bit more info and breaks down a little better on what these new titles are going to be, plus all the creative team changes for the ongoing titles that are going to continue from pre-Convergence. All right, I want to welcome everybody to a special episode of The Comic Source, kind of an informal special here. It's Friday, February 6th, and DC had a huge bombshell announcement today, announcing all their new series spinning out of Convergence. Well, actually, not necessarily spinning out of Convergence, because they don't necessarily have to do with Convergence.
No.
Not like all the back in the day when Crisis happened, and then all those series came out of Crisis based on what had happened in Crisis. So they announced their new series that are coming out after Convergence is over, and a lot of interesting things. So we're going to take them one by one. And first of all, let me go back and remind you guys of all the all the series that got canceled back in December of 2014 when they announced. That's when they did the solicits for March, so we knew that there were going to be the final issues on a lot of these series because it said right in the solicit. We already knew about the conclusion of Batman Eternal, Earth 2 World's End, and the New 52 Future's End. Those were the weeklies, and we knew a long time ago that those were all going to be ending the last week of March 2015. Also, 5 of the series concluding were series that had started from day one of the New 52, and that was Green Lantern, New Guardians, Green Lantern Corps, Red Lanterns, Swamp Thing, and Batwoman. So in addition to those, we knew there were final issues for the Infinity Man and the Forever People, Secret Origins, Star-Spangled War Stories featuring G.I. Zombie, Trinity of Sin, World's Finest, Arkham Manor, Aquaman and the Others, and Clarion. So those are the ones we knew about. So by my count, that's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus the 12 weekly books, which is 20, plus the 5 that had started originally when the New 52 started, Batwoman, Swamp Thing, and the 3 Green Lantern books, for a total of 25 books a month that DC was going to have to replace. Well, come to find out, even though they weren't necessarily listed as final issues, there's actually 6 more titles we know that are now ending in March and won't be coming back post-Convergence. And that's Earth 2, Justice League Dark, Justice League 3000, Supergirl, Batman and Robin, and Red Hood and the Outlaws. Now some of these are clearly being replaced on some of the new titles they announced, and some not so much. So I think there are 24 new titles being announced. So as we mentioned before, there was 25 initially that we knew about in December, and then 6 more here. So that brings the total up to what, 31?
Yeah, 31.
Issues a month, and they're actually only coming out with only 24 new titles. So I guess it could have been worse. And some of the new titles that they're coming out with are limited series. So I kind of would have liked them to go even a little less, maybe 20 titles. But like I said, some of them are limited series; they're not going to be around that long, and some others, I don't know how much longer they're going to last. So I'm just going to run down all the titles real fast, and then Manny and I will go title by title, and we'll give what info that there is, and a little bit of speculation, a little bit of rumor, and our thoughts on what's going to be coming from these titles in the future. So if we just go down the list really quick.
Okay, at the top of the list we have Batmite, Batman Beyond, Bizarro, Black Canary, Constantine, the Hellblazer, Cyborg, Dark Universe, Doomed, Dr. Fate, Earth 2 Society, Green Lantern, The Lost Army, Harley Quinn, Power Girl, Justice League 3001, Justice League of America, Martian Manhunter, Midnight, Mystic U, Omega Man, PrezK, Red Hood, Arsenal, Robin, Son of Batman, Section 8, Starfire, We Are Robin.
Yeah, so right away, one thing that I'll say is it seems to be a very diverse offering, and it's something that in DC's defense they've tried before. Even when they launched the New 52, they had some Western books in there. They had some off-the-wall books, I, Vampire, and Men at War, just trying different things, trying to diversify. One of the complaints early on about the New 52 was there wasn't enough diversity as far as creators and characters and art styles. And I don't know, maybe it's too little too late, but they really seem to be trying to diversify with these new titles, both in art style and creators. And there's no company out there as far as Marvel, DC, Dark Horse's Black Sky, whatever their universe that crosses over with each other. There's no other publisher out there who's going to have as many female-led books as DC once these get started. So, and I know that's been a complaint for a lot of people for a long time. So, just my initial impressions are that they're doing a good job of at least attempting to be different. And in fact, their free comic book day release is going to be called Divergence. As I said, they're trying to diversify. They're trying to bring in new readers by attracting readers of other properties and other companies. And I think perhaps a lot of the reason they're doing this is they've seen how successful Image has been with giving their creators a lot of freedom. And a lot of the stuff at Image is creator owned. Image is just kind of a publishing umbrella for that, and they've seen the success that some of those books have had, so I feel like that's part of it. Also, the success so far of Batgirl taking a totally different feel is also part of it. One thing I believe they're going to struggle with is Dan Didio, the co-publisher at DC, came right out and said that story is going to trump continuity. And a lot of old school comic book readers are going to have a problem with that because, for example, Justice League America, drawn and written by Brian Hitch. Okay, so now we're going to have Justice League United, Justice League, and Justice League America. And we know Justice League America is going to have Green Lantern and Flash and Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman. So does that exist in the same world as Justice League with those same characters happening at the same time? So where does it fit? And are they going to actually address that, or are they going to exist in two different universes? Is Justice League America going to be outside of continuity? Those are things we don't know, and it could cause problems further down the line. But at the end of the day, I agree with what Didio said. As long as it's a good story, I'm able to let the continuity go to some extent. And, it seems like these things are cyclical. For a long time in comics, continuity really didn't matter that much. When comics were for younger kids, in fact, I believe it was Mort Weisinger back in the day at DC Comics who said, they can recycle and tell the same story every 2 years because by then they're brand new readers.
That's true.
They're brand new kids because, a kid back then would read comics from about age 8 until 10 and then they moved on to something else, and so they could tell the same stories. So that's it's one thing to think about. So let's go title by title. and we'll, like I said, we'll give what info we're aware of and our thoughts on it. And we'll start with Batmite. It's going to be written by Dan Jurgens, and the art is by Corin Howell. We don't really know too much more than we see here in this promo art that's been released, but I myself am intrigued. You know, for a long time, DC was the dark and gritty, and they seem to hold on to that even longer than any other publishing company. You know, all the comics were dark and gritty in the 90s.
Yeah.
But DC seemed to hold on to it for a long time. Even that was another one of the complaints about the New 52 when it came out, was that, you know, they stayed with the dark and gritty for too long. And, you know, even with the beginning of the New 52, the stuff was going to be dark and gritty. But maybe with the success of Harley Quinn, being kind of a fun book, that now they're trying to bring Batmite and go kind of just a fun goofball comic. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Batmite was featured in quite a few episodes in Batman the Brave and the Bold, and I think his popularity there also helped launch this comic.
Yeah, I've only watched a few episodes of that. I don't remember seeing Batmite, but I heard he was kind of annoying in those.
Yeah, he is, but he has a nice little fun aspect too, where Batman is usually a serious. Even in Brave and the Bold, which is a lot lighter side, Batman's still pretty serious, and Batmite, he just wants to be a hero, just like Batman.
Okay, so. Now when he appeared in Brave and the Bold, did he look like this, the same as this promo art?
Very similarly, yes. A little bit more cartoonish, a little bit more wacky looking, but yeah, very similar.
See, because the only Batmite I remember from the cartoons was from the Batman animated series from like back in the mid '80s, and he wasn't even like a human. He was like an imp kind of guy that had powers. So in the Brave and the Bold, is he like a little kid?
Yeah, he looks more like a little kid, but I can see where you
does he have? But he has like these crazy powers, magical powers.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, like I said, I'm interested. I'm sure I'll pick up an issue or two to try it out. I like that art. That promo art looks pretty good. So I don't know. I know you said you weren't really.
Yeah, not my cup of tea, but
even though you're a Batman fan,
yeah,
well, I can understand that. If you like a certain kind of Batman, and he kind of goes against it. So all right, what's next on your list?
Batman Beyond.
Okay, Batman Beyond, going to be written also by Dan Jurgens, and the artist is Bernard Chang. Now, he was the artist on Green Lantern Corps, so clearly he is going to be freed up since Green Lantern Corps is one of the books that was canceled. Beyond that, we don't really know much. My biggest question is, okay, Batman Beyond, but when?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because, you know, he was one of the main stars of the New 52, Future's End weekly series, and that was set 5 years in the future, but he had time traveled back. So is it going to be from that 5-year period going forward? Is he going to be returning to the future? Because let's face it, we all know that at the end of the New 52 Future's End, they're going to stop Brother Eye from having that terrible future come to pass that we saw in the Free Comic Book Day issue. So is he going to be returning to his own time, or is he perhaps going to be coming to present time? That's probably the biggest question for me. And I have to say, even though I'm a big fan of Dan Jurgens and Bernard Chang both, it's not really a title that I'm that interested in.
Yeah, I'll probably pick up the first one and see where it goes.
Yeah, I'll probably pick up the first issue, read on, the first issue of almost everything, but I can't really see that being a series that I really hang on to, because Batman Beyond as a character has never really interested me that much. And I've watched a little bit of the first cartoon that came out, and it was just kind of like, it was well done, but I just felt like there was enough Batman stuff set in current day for me to watch that I didn't need to really expand past that. So
yeah, that's probably the difference between us, is that I grew up liking that show, and some of the villains I'm a little bit more familiar.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. I'll give it a shot. And
yeah, I think personally I'd probably be more interested in reading it if it were set in the present day. So, but I guess we'll see. Okay, next on the list
we have Bizarro, the 6-issue miniseries.
All right, and that is going to be written by Heath Corson, and the art is by Gustavo Duarte. And beyond this promo piece here, I know nothing about it. I mean, we know Bizarro is either a Superman clone or Superman from an alternate world. And again, I think it's going to be another one of those humor titles, but I'm not familiar with either one of those creators, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah, from what I heard, it's supposed to be one of those more of the lighter side of comics where Bizarro on his own in his own world is trying to be Superman and save the world, but obviously he doesn't go very well for him. So yeah, I think this one's gonna be pretty good.
Okay, what's next on the list?
Black Canary.
Black Canary. We have the promo art piece here. We see the fishnets are back. I was kind of surprised when I first saw this title on the list. Wouldn't necessarily think it's somebody that's in high demand to have a book. But then I thought, oh wait, the Arrow Show.
Yeah, the Arrow
Show is very
really
popular. It's a way to get another female lead book out there. And if DC can pull in some of those Arrow watchers, especially the female audience, it could be a big coup for them. So it's going to be written by Brendan Fletcher, and the artist is Annie Wu. Don't know if she's the one that did this promo piece. If so, it looks like it's going to be a little on the darker side, but it could be interesting. Black Canary is definitely a very multi-layered character. She's had her own book a few times, I think, at least a miniseries, and then of course she's appeared extensively in Birds of Prey. So, you have any interest in Black Canary at all?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, given the success of Batgirl this last year, I can see why they're reaching out with Black Canary, and like you said, it's due to the popularity that she has in Arrow. I mean, they killed off Sarah, and now her sister's taking the mantle. So obviously, it's a popular character that they hope to get more female readers on. So definitely interested.
I wonder if they're going to bring in aspects of the show, the Arrow show, because when Arrow really took off, then they started in kind of the reverse of what they usually do, where they take things from the comics and introduce them into the live action shows. They took stuff from the shows, like Diggle and some of the other things, and they actually incorporated that stuff into the comics.
Well, they had to, because I mean, it became so popular on TV, and all said and done, you kind of want those people watching the TV to now go and buy comics
and be able to recognize it.
Yeah, so
from the show, right?
So adding Diggle was a great idea.
Yeah.
And now expanding with Black Canary having her own title, this is the best time to do it.
So you think there'll be a lot of stuff from the show?
I don't think so. I think they're going to try to give her own voice, maybe a little bit more character focused. So, but obviously that's the hook,
Yeah.
Arrow.
And next on the list,
Constantine the Hellblazer.
Constantine the Hellblazer. Now this is going to be written by Ming Doyle, who is mostly known for her art, and Riley Rosmo is doing the art. Other than that, we don't really know much. Not much has been said. You wonder how much they're going to change Constantine to also pull in things from the show. So he's been a popular character. I mean, his Vertigo title lasted for 300 issues. So that's certainly nothing to sneeze about. So.
Well, the only problem with the show is that, as far as I know, it's ending.
No, they renewed it.
They did?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
It was sometime in the last month or so. Okay, so I've never been a fan of Constantine, never read much of him other than when he was reincorporated back in the New 52. And he's kind of one of those characters that I could take him or leave him.
The only time I've ever really read any of him was during Trinity of Sin.
Yeah. So yeah, that probably won't be one that I'm picking up. Certainly have a feeling that they're going to be trying to steer him back more towards the way he was in his Vertigo title, because like I said, that was a very popular title, and it was one of the complaints I heard a lot about, when he got reincorporated back in the New 52. Well, that's not the Constantine I know, and yada, yada, yada. So I think, again, trying to diversify, and this might be the case where they're going to steer a character back toward the way he was before the New 52 in hopes of having a successful title. And next on the list?
Next on the list, we have Cyborg.
Now, this is probably one of the titles that surprised me the least, being that he has his own solo movie coming out, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. It's quite a ways in the future. I think 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
But he will be making an appearance in Batman vs Superman, and then obviously in the Justice League.
Well, we know that the series is going to be written by David Walker, and I don't know that much about. I've never heard the name. I do know that he apparently is African American. So again, DC making an attempt to diversify not only their lineup of books but also their stable of creators.
Yeah.
So appreciate that. I'm sure he'll be able to bring more of an understanding of character. Being a black man himself, Cyborg obviously is a black character. So hopefully that meshes well. And the art team, it's A-list.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yvonne Reese and Joe Prado. I mean, their stuff on both Justice League and Aquaman was amazing. So that's a book that I may be picking up purely based on amazing art from that team. So never been a huge fan of Cyborg, and having grown up with DC Comics from the early '80s all the way up until now, it's still strange for me to think of Cyborg as a Justice Leaguer. To me, he'll always be, a Teen Titan. Yeah, so for me, it's kind of strange, but he's a good character, and I like a lot of the changes they've made with him in the New 52.
Well, he's been getting a lot of exposure on TV and movies as well. DC and their animated films. He's featured predominantly in Justice League War, and then he's one of the main characters in one of the more popular Cartoon Network shows of Teen Titans Go.
Oh, right.
So,
see, he's a Teen Titan, damn it.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, he's getting a lot more exposure. So a lot of kids, and I mean, my daughter, she's 4. She knows who Cyborg is.
Wow, that's cool.
So this is another one of those titles that's probably the right time, giving how much exposure he's getting, and how much more exposure he's going to get in the near future.
And look at that art, man. I mean, that is
super detailed.
Yeah, that is awesome. I'm a big fan of that. Okay, what's next on the list?
Dark Universe.
Dark Universe. Okay, so this we know very, very little about. We know that could be kind of a prelude to Guillermo del Toro's Justice League Dark movie that apparently is in pre-production. We know that this Dark Universe title is going to be replacing Justice League Dark in the DC Universe. We know that it's going to be written by James Tynion and drawn by Ming Doyle. So she's writing Constantine, the Hellblazer, but not doing the art on that, and yet doing the art on this book. So it could be much like Tim Seeley says, because he often will write a book and yet draw another one. He likes to split it up because he feels like it allows him to have another set of eyes on the book to know when he's not telling the story the right way or there's room for improvement on something. So, when you write and draw one book yourself, you have, that one less person to collaborate with to help.
Yeah.
Whether it be if you're stuck on a certain plot point or the art's not working out right, whatever it may be. So it's interesting. I wonder if that has anything to do with Ming drawing one book and writing another. Other than that, we don't really know much. I asked James Tynion on Twitter today if the Phantom Stranger was going to be in it. He didn't reply. He said he couldn't really say much at this point, but he's super excited. Clearly, it's kind of a way for DC to explore that corner of the universe, the dark, the magic, without it just having to be Justice League Dark. I mean, it may be that one story arc focuses on Frankenstein, Agent of Shade, and the next story arc focuses on Zatanna, and then maybe the next one's on Pandora. So it'll be interesting to see for sure. Definitely something I'll check out.
Yeah, I also heard that they're changing the name also, so people won't get Justice League Dark mixed up with the Justice League in general.
Oh, that's true.
And associate them more with Dark Universe, which is also what the title for Guillermo del Toro's film was going to be, or is going to be. So people get more familiar with that.
Good to know. And I'm a big fan of James Tynion. I think he's a great world builder. So.
Oh yeah, he's a really good writer.
All right, and next on the list we have
Doomed.
So based on a couple things, one being this promo picture that was released, by series artist Javier Hernandez, and then on what Hernandez said when he posted the picture was, and I quote, "To create a character and launch it at DC with one of the writers you follow since you're a child is something I couldn't expect to do so soon. With all of you doomed, new DC ongoing title by Scott Lobdell and me." So, as he mentioned, the writer is going to be Scott Lobdell, and if we take a look at the picture, along the vein of Wicked, Frozen, Tangled, Teenage Doomsday.
Really?
That is the speculation at this point. You know, being that the Doom storyline was written by Scott Lobdell, the storyline that ran through Superman, the Superman titles in 2014. Clearly, it's going to be something Doomsday related. Teenage Doomsday, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I mean, there's also been a trend lately to have books starring villains, so it doesn't surprise me to see this on the list. With the success of Harley Quinn, again, her success seems to be creating a lot of ripples throughout.
Yeah, I heard Sinestro did really well too.
Sinestro's been doing well. Over at Marvel, you have Magneto. So, you know, a lot of these villain-centric books. So, like I said, I'm not surprised to see. I just don't know how much interest I have. And even, and you say Teenage Doomsday, I mean, it's like, you know, Doomsday from when he was created in the old 52 was, you know, kind of what he was, like right from the beginning. There was no, you know, teenage or adolescent. So
no rebellious stage.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. And he's kind of a two-dimensional character as well. I mean, he's just like wants to destroy. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know how you put teenage emotions into that. I mean, that's pretty much already it, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. But that being said, you know, I didn't actually read all the Doom storylines, so I don't know if you know, he grew as a character.
He ended up having an offspring.
Yeah. So maybe, you know, maybe it's something I need to go back and revisit. You know, I'll probably give the first issue a chance, and who knows? Maybe it'll surprise me.
Next on the list is Dr. Fate.
Okay, so Dr. Fate, writer Paul Levitz and artist Sonny Liu. Paul Levitz is known for his Legion of Superheroes work, and most recently he was working on World's Finest, which we know came to an end. So now he's writing Dr. Fate, and I don't know that we've seen much of Dr. Fate in the New 52. I know he was in Earth 2 a little bit, so I don't know if this is going to be that version of Dr. Fate, or if it's going to be a different version, an Earth 1 version. Really don't know. Don't know much other than Paul Levitz is writing Dr. Fate, Sonny Liu is drawing it, and I can't wait to read it. Paul Levitz is a great writer. I feel like Dr. Fate is one of the most underdeveloped, very powerful and intriguing characters of the DC Universe. So this one has me really, really excited. But unfortunately, there haven't even been any promo art pieces put out yet, so I'm not familiar with Sonny Liu at all. I'm hoping that his art is pretty good and can complement Paul Levitt's Dr. Fate's writing on them both well.
Earth 2 Society. That's our next one.
Next, Earth 2 Society. Okay, now this is going to be written by Daniel H. Wilson. He was the kind of the showrunner, lead writer on the Earth 2 World's End weekly series. Artist Jorge Jimenez. Not familiar with him either. We don't know much about this series either, other than what Daniel Wilson said on Twitter, which was just spent 6 months tearing apart the world, and now I get to write a series where I build it back up. So perhaps spinning out of Convergence or spinning out of the end of Earth 2 World's End, we're going to see Earth 2 recreated or reestablished, or they're going to get a new planet. So not sure what's going to happen there, but I feel like Wilson did a pretty good job on it, or has done a pretty good job on Earth 2 World's End to this point. So and I was a fan. The Earth 2 was one of the real popular books when it first came out, and then as it kind of inevitably led to Darkseid attacking it, a lot of people feel that it became kind of dark and lost some of its charm that it had that helped it be so successful early on. So Any interest in reading that one?
Not really. To be honest with you, I don't know too much about Earth 2 to really
Yeah.
be interested.
I forgot to ask you about Dr. Fate.
Oh, Dr. Fate? Yeah, definitely. Next is Green Lantern Lost Army.
Okay, now this series is going to be written by Cullen Bunn, and the art is by Jesus Saez and Javi Pina. This is supposed to kind of take the place of all three of the Lantern titles that were canceled. So Green Lantern New Guardians, Green Lantern Corps, and Red Lanterns. So seems like a lot of things all thrown in together. Whether it's that, whether it has more to do with some of the things that are going to spin out of Sinestro, being that Cullen Bunn writes Sinestro also, we're not really sure. Cullen Bunn's definitely an up-and-coming artist. He puts out a lot of books, and he does a pretty good job. He seems to do well kind of writing the darker characters, you know. Like I said, he does Sinestro. He writes Magneto over at Marvel. He did The Sixth Gun. He's the creator of The Sixth Gun, which was a very popular book when it first debuted, and it is still ongoing at Oni Press. So this one has me intrigued. I was reading all the Green Lantern books, all 5 of them. So I'll definitely pick up the first issue or 2 of this and see exactly where it's going to go. You haven't been following Green Lantern, have you?
No, the last thing I read, which wasn't very good, was Lights Out.
I liked Lights Out. It was an interesting idea. So no, not going to pick up Lost Army then?
I might try to get it back in. Maybe I'll read some back issues of Green Lantern and try to catch up.
All right, now next on the list, I know you're going to be picking this up.
Yep.
Harley Quinn Power Girl, Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Connor, Justin Gray, and artist Stefan Roux. So those 3 writers, Palmiotti, Connor, and Justin Gray, those were the 3 writers on the Power Girl series from the old 52. And so they're kind of a little bit of a reunion, although Amanda did the art on that old Power Girl series. Now this art's going to be handled by Stefan Roux. So I'm not caught up with Harley. I haven't read the Harley Quinn issues that cross over with Power Girl. So you're probably better suited to give the rundown on what this is going to be about.
Well, it's not for sure what it's going to be about.
Well, we're speculating. A lot of this is speculation.
Well,
so give us your theory.
Well, my theory, based upon the last story arc, I guess, that we got with when Power Girl and Harley Quinn were fighting Sportsmaster and Clock King, they were sent into other dimensions, other portals, and when they came back after that, we found out that Power Girl had been married, and they had gone through a couple of adventures that they didn't go into details. Now, Jimmy is really nice enough to, when I ask him questions, he answers me back in the best of his ability. And when I asked him, hey, so who did Power Girl marry? All he told me was, just wait and see. Now, I speculated that was part of the Harley Quinn Valentine's Day issue, which I know now that I'm wrong. But now that I see that we have this miniseries coming up, I'm pretty sure this is going to expand a little bit more on those adventures that they had while they were time traveling or multi-dimensional.
Dimension hopping.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe it's a Marvel character. We know that they took quite a few shots on Inhumans and also Thanos himself. So I'm really interested to see where this is going and what kind of crazy ideas they're gonna put on paper.
Okay, when you say you ask Jimmy, you call him up on the phone and be like, Jimmy, what's up?
No, this was through Twitter. Like I said, he's always really nice enough to take some time and answer questions or just thank me for reading or giving a review. So yeah, I mean, one of the nicest guys in comics.
Yep, I'll agree with that. And you know, Harley Quinn's been a runaway success for DC, so not a surprise here. And you have to think if they wrote that story with Harley and Power Girl disappearing, and then don't they come right back? But apparently they've been gone a long time, right?
Yeah.
Like from one page to the next, but they were gone a lot longer. But if you're reading the Harley, they were gone a very short time, right?
Yeah, because for example, when they went to the, I guess DC's version of the Marvel universe, they were gone for a few days. and then when they came back, it was just seconds.
Right. Okay, so they had to know even then that they were going to do this, probably.
I think so.
Okay. Okay. All right, next on the list, the Justice League 3001.
Yes, that's it.
All right, Justice League 3001, Keith Giffen, J.M. DeMatteis, art by Howard Porter. Not much needs to be said about this book. This is just Justice League 3000, year 2, basically. So that book's been pretty successful. What's interesting about that book is DC's come out and said that it's set in the future, but it's not the new 52 universe future.
Interesting.
So that's how they were able to have a Booster Gold and Blue Beetle from the old 52, the old Giffen, DeMatteis, Kevin Maguire Justice League show up there. And it's been a fairly popular title. I read the first few issues. I thought it was okay. I think it got better, and it hadn't really hit its stride the first couple issues that I read. And apparently it improved a lot, and the numbers have improved since. So expect to see that continue. The next book,
Justice League of America.
Yeah, Justice League of America, that I mentioned earlier, is going to be written and drawn by Brian Hitch, who's best known for his work over at Marvel on the Ultimates. So that has a lot of people excited. I may be one of the few people who's not a huge fan of Brian Hitch art-wise. I feel his stuff's a little too photorealistic. And even in this promo piece of art that was released, you know, this heroes are all soaring up. Like, you can't see Superman's face, you can't see Wonder Woman's face. Kind of see Green Lanterns, not too much Aquaman. I don't know, it just doesn't have me that excited. I'm more excited to see what he can do writing-wise, and I'm also excited that this is kind of a throwback to the old days when we used to have writer-artists on big books like Byrne, John Byrne, both writing and drawing Fantastic Four, and George Perez, both writing and drawing Wonder Woman. So that aspect of it has me excited, but I'm just, like I said, I'm just not the biggest Brian Hitch fan art-wise, so I guess we'll wait and see. And then the other thing to think about is, as I mentioned, where is this going to fit in continuity-wise?
Yeah, because you have the Justice League book, the ongoing that's going to be continuing at the same time, and that's going to have a big storyline with Jeff Johns and
the Dark Side War.
Yes.
So maybe this is going to be from another universe or outside of continuity. I guess we'll see. Well, you know what? We'll come back to that at the very end, because I do have one theory that I want to spring on Manny, and we'll see what he thinks about it.
All right. Martian Manhunter.
And again, a book we know almost nothing about, written by Rob Williams, artist Ben Oliver, and Paolo Secura. But beyond that, I don't know. Martian Manhunter's been one of those characters that DC's had a hard time with in the New 52, with changing his origin. He wasn't part of the Justice League when it was founded, like he was in every previous incarnation of the DC Universe. He was part of Stormwatch, but he told Stormwatch, his Stormwatch teammates, that he had been part of the Justice League, but then maybe he was erasing memories and just completely convoluted. So if anything, I hope the series can answer some of those questions. I feel like Martian Manhunter is an underused character,
definitely
underappreciated character, and I mean, this guy's got all the powers that Superman has, plus, plus he can change shape, plus he can turn invisible. So he seems to me he should be a more popular character. So hopefully this can be a chance for him to take a step forward.
Yeah, people just got to buy the book. I mean, all the time on different blogs and sites, everyone's always asking for, Martian Manhunter. So now it's time
to put up or shut up. Yep. Either buy the book. You've been asking for it, buy it. All right, what do you got next?
Next we got Midnighter.
Midnighter is going to be written by Steve Orlando, and the artist is Aco, A-C-O. He was the artist on this last week's Batman Eternal. If you watched my last episode, didn't really care for his art that much. I felt like he didn't really handle the storytelling from panel to panel very well. So something to work on. You have any interest in reading that one?
Not at the moment.
One thing I should note about Midnighters, he's a gay character. Yeah, and Steve Orlando, he's written a graphic novel, I believe, that started a gay character. So I don't know if he's gay himself, but again, DC trying to diversify.
Yeah, since they're canceling Batwoman, I guess this is how they're gonna fill that void.
They gotta have a gay lead in a book, huh?
Well, yeah, but I mean, they also have. I guess he's not a lead, but Bunker. He's
Yeah, that's true.
he's gay as well.
All right, what's next on your list over there?
It says it's a tentative title, Mystic U.
Yeah, again, something, don't know anything about it. Writer Elisa Quinty, artist Morissette. So, Mystic Universe, I don't know, magic title. So, I guess stick a pin in that one for now. Omega Men.
Yeah, that's next.
Okay, that's written by Tom King and artist Barnaby Bagenda. Omega Men, that was a title late 80s or early to mid 80s. Cosmic, DC, Tom King co-writes the runaway hit Grayson for DC. So it's a chance for him to get out on his own and write something. Seems to be very excited about it. So I guess we're going to see the new 52 version of the Omega Men. Should have a little bit of a built-in audience. Omega Men had a cult following. So it'll be interesting to see what Tom King does with that. I'll definitely pick it up.
Well,
Issue
I'm
or
interested, but just to see what it is. Next on the list we have PrezK.
Okay, Prez. It was one of those 70s titles. Teenager becomes president, kind of goofy. Just based on the promo shot that we see, it looks like still going to be a teenager, but this time a female. So again, DC trying to diversify female lead. So, not sure what the robot's all about. I don't know if this is her dad or the vice president. So, another humor book.
It's a miniseries, 6 issues.
6 issues, okay. No interest in that myself.
Yeah, me neither.
But who knows? It could surprise. I should say the writer is Mark Russell and the artist is Ben Caldwell. I do like the art in that promo piece.
Yeah, it is very clean. Next on the list you have Red Hood Arsenal.
Red Hood Arsenal. Now, a lot of people didn't realize because DC didn't announce. We didn't know till today that Red Hood and the Outlaws was ending, and Starfire has apparently left the team. So now it's just Red Hood Arsenal. Going to continue with the same writer as Red Hood and the Outlaws, Scott Lobdell, and artist Dennis Medra. So I have a feeling that book's not going to miss a beat. The same people that were picking it up before will continue to pick it up. Red Hood, he's a good character, so I expect that book to continue to pull in about the same numbers as it had been.
Well, it might pick up a little bit because Arsenal's getting quite a following due to the era. Especially with these last few episodes where Oliver Queen, for spoiler reasons, I won't say why he's away, but he's away, and Arsenal kind of takes over for a couple of episodes, and online he's really popular.
Makes you wonder if that's why they changed the title, so that his name would actually be in the title.
Yeah, more than likely that's why.
All right, next up.
Robin, Son of Batman.
Son of Batman, again, another writer-artist book. Now, Patrick Gleason had been writing Batman, and Patrick Gleason had been doing the art on Batman and Robin, so he's continuing those art duties and also taking over for Peter J. Tomasi as writer on the book. I'm not a fan of Damian Wayne at all, so this will not be a book that I'm picking up, but for all those that are, again, another book I expect won't miss a beat, and continuing the adventures of Damian Wayne.
Yeah, nothing against Damian Wayne, but I would prefer a Nightwing book.
Well, we have Grayson.
Yeah, but
not the same.
Not the same.
All right, up next.
Section 8.
Okay, we don't know much about Section 8. It's from the same team that produced Hitman back in the 90s. That's writer Garth Ennis and artist John McCrae. What we do know is it's a limited series, and it's going to be featuring some of the supporting characters, some of the characters that were introduced in that popular Hitman series back in the 90s. Again, had a cult following. It's Garth Ennis. He's a great writer, so I expect that will do relatively well.
Next on the list, Starfire.
Starfire. Okay, so the reason it's Red Hood and Arsenal is because Starfire has left the team. And the reason she's left the team is because she's going solo. And from the superstar team that brought Harley Quinn to new heights, Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner, and the art's going to be handled by Emanuela Lupacchino, whose art is amazing. We see in this new promo piece, Starfire's much more covered, I'll put it that way, than she was in her New 52 debut, which that costume was pretty much the same as the old 52, but I guess it just got more exposure at the time because there was all this outcry, not enough diversity, not enough female leads in books, not enough female creators. And look, one of the few females they have in a book, Starfire, and she's just a sex-crazed alien, wearing hardly any clothes. So I'm sure all those people that were complaining about that, all those feminists out there, will be happy to see that Starfire's clothed. So, I mean, I'm a fan of everything that Jimmy and Amanda do, so this is a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, and I mean, it also helps that you have Emanuela doing art. She did some really good stuff for Archer and Armstrong. So yeah. I mean, now you're putting Jimmy, Amanda, Emanuela in the same book. That's a definite yes for me.
Yeah, Emanuela, another one of those artists that was discovered by more of an independent publisher. I believe her first work here in the States was for Valiant, and didn't take long for her to get stolen away by. I know she's done some work for Marvel, and now looks like she's going to be the regular artist on Starfire. So I look forward to talking to her at some conventions. Hopefully DC will pay to bring her over from Italia. She's Italian, so and at the very least we'll be able to pick Jimmy's brain about what it's like to collaborate with her. So looking forward to that.
Last on our list we have We Are Robin.
We Are Robin. Okay, don't know much about this. Based on the cover art, it looks like there's multiple Robins. Apparently, in the Detective Comics Future's End book, there was a bunch of kids that got together and kind of defended Gotham City from something, and so there's speculation that that's what this is.
Well, I haven't heard anything,
so that's what I'm going to go with for now. And we could also talk about some of the new creative teams on some of the books that are continuing, but I think we've rambled on long enough. Like I said, DC's definitely has a lot of new diverse books coming out with a lot of new creators, and it seems like they're trying to diversify both in their titles and their creative talent, and with some of the new talent that's coming on. And when I say new talent, I don't necessarily mean new to the industry. A lot of them are just new to DC, but it seems like they are definitely putting their best foot forward and trying to bring in these artists that have and writers that have new ideas, that have had success either self-publishing or success at other publishers doing more off-the-wall, not necessarily traditional superhero books. So kudos to DC for doing that. And the one thing I do want to mention, I'll drop this bombshell on Manny right at the end. If you look at the list of books that's coming out, both the new titles coming out and the continuing titles, there are only 2 Batman books. 2 books starring Bruce Wayne Batman.
True.
So it makes me, they brought Batmite and Batman Beyond, and then 2 Robin books. The only new book that's coming out that has Batman in it is Justice League of America, which could be a different continuity altogether. So is Batman going to survive Endgame? Or will we have, in a very short period of time, another Batman death?
That's a good question.
So maybe that's why there are no new Batman titles, and that's why there's no Batman and Robin. Batman's going solo. That's why there is a book called We Are Robins, because Robin's going to need more help defending Gotham City from the many, many rogues galleries of Batman villains, because Batman's not there.
I don't know. That's kind of far out there.
It is
But,
far out there, but you heard it here first, folks.
I mean, I can see why this last year there were so many Batman books. It was the 75th anniversary of Batman. So, now that it's, 76 years, they're probably going to they're going to slow down, give a chance to some other characters. And I definitely like the direction they're taking. It's, keeping what works, but at the same time, listening to people about diversity, about different characters, or just bringing back other characters and titles that you want.
Yeah, but even when the New 52 launched, there was Batman, there was Batman and Robin, there was Detective Comics, and there was Batman the Dark Knight. And it wasn't the 75th anniversary yet.
Okay, yeah, you got me there.
So, I don't know. I'm just speculating. It's not like they've canceled Batman, but if Batman's going to die, they wouldn't cancel. They wouldn't let us know anyway. They'd put out fake solicitations if they had to.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Or maybe somebody else will take over the cowl. So, I don't know. I'm just speculating. It's just a thought to put in Manny's head, since he's such a huge Batman fan. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this special report. You got a few months' time to kind of assimilate all this information and decide if there's some books coming out from DC in June that you're going to be willing to pick up. And I'm sure between now and then, we'll get a lot more details and have a better feel of what these series are going to be like. And there's even every chance that some of these titles may drop away and get replaced by other titles. Some of these creators may have to drop out for various reasons and get replaced by other creators. So, it's the world of comics. Things are constantly changing. But like I said, I think DC is doing a great job trying to diversify both in content and creative talent. So it's going to be an exciting summer.
Definitely.
So I want to thank everybody for joining me. And the next time you guys join me, I promise it's going to be the history of Harley Quinn. I'll see you then.
Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.